Marnita, I don't hear any sound from you. Can anybody hear Marnita? And Marnita, can you hear me? We don't hear you. Okay, we don't hear you. All right, no sound from Miss Casa this morning. So give me just 1 second. I am uh, normally during that time, I'm able to set some things up while Miss Casa's introducing you guys. So give me 1 second here. All right, we are streaming live on YouTube. Make sure I have that up. Okay, okay, there we go. All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our special Saturday morning ILCA presentation slash crypto talk. Thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule for being here. Thank you, Miss Casa, for attempting to speak. You look beautiful, so at least people can see you smile. They don't get to hear your voice this morning. But good morning, everybody. I'm excited about where we are, what's going on. We have a lot of exciting things coming up. Oh, does that mean you're not going to be able to share the info for Vegas? Okay, so we'll do that on Monday. Yeah. We'll do that on Monday and on the MoveQuest presentation at the end. We'll show what we got going on for Vegas. All right, so good morning, everybody. Let me recognize those of you guys who are here. I see Miss Marnita Casa and Clairville Albert, Carla Arrigo, Cash Crosby, CJ, Craig Jones, Dorothy Mays, Elijah Morgan, Elton, Gina Muhammad, Jacqueline Briggs, Janelle from Colorado, Judy from Toronto, Kishira Dean, Maggie, Nathan, Papa Leonard, Patty Geis, Rita B. And I am not sure because I do not know the Mandarin characters, but welcome. We are international. This is Crypto Talk and ILC. Oh, that's Robin. All right, welcome, Robin. This is ILCA Presentation International. We are a global opportunity, a global community. My name is Brandon Ivey. I'm the founder and CEO of ILCA from Los Angeles, California. And just to give you guys a little bit of background about me, I've been in the direct sales industry for 25 years. It'll be 26 years at the end of this year. I got started in 1998, my senior year at Morehouse College. I was taught that if I wanted to have financial freedom, in America or the world for that matter, there's a couple of things that I must do. Go to school, get good grades, and get a good, safe, secure job, a job that will take care of me for the rest of my life. And I'm sure many of you have heard that same story. I am actually breaking that curse with my sons. I'm still telling them that they need to get a college degree, but not for the same reasons that I was told and taught to do so. Because I learned very quickly that that American dream turned into American nightmare. That we're teaching our kids to prepare for a world that will no longer exist by the time they have a degree and cannot afford them to live a full lifestyle, even if they have a college degree. In fact, 70% of all jobs in America do not pay a livable wage, a full livable wage. You need at least two incomes in the household to barely be making it. So obviously something with the system is broken, it's wrong, and it needs to change. But instead of attempting to change the system, I believe that we need to change how we think and our approach to what is a healthy lifestyle, what is a wealthy lifestyle, what is it that you desire, and being in an industry that can make that happen. So I joined the direct sell industry because I had an opportunity to earn unlimited income based on my work and efforts. And I wish I could tell you that I had immediate success. I didn't. I struggled for 10 years. 10 years. I couldn't sell a product to save my life. I couldn't build large organizations. I couldn't network, but I learned and I wasn't going to give up because I saw if somebody else was able to make it happen, then that means I can too if I apply myself and I just learn the right skills. It took me 10 years because I was stubborn. I didn't want to learn anything new and I thought I knew everything already. Once I got out of my own way and I learned the right skills and I had a mental shift, then everything started to explode. I was able to walk off my job and retire at the age of 36 years old. going on 13 years ago. I was able to earn seven figures in this industry. I had my freedom day and fired my boss, and I've never been back. But then I realized, okay, from Robert Kiyosaki talks about the cash flow quadrant, from the E quadrant of employee to trading time for money, leveraging other people to the investor quadrant, letting my money work for me. I looked at an industry that's going to make that happen, and it was this thing called cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain. I knew nothing about it. I thought it was nothing but monopoly money used by nerds who live in their mom's basement every day. I didn't think there was anything real to it. Next thing you know, this thing called Bitcoin went from like 0.00 cents to $20,000 a coin in 2017. It became the best performing asset of the past decade. So when I began to research it and learn about it, I learned two things that literally changed my life. And I was not looking for this to happen. The first I learned is that blockchain, the technology of it, just like when people hear about the internet, what you really want to learn about in the 90s was the technology that made it possible. But blockchain, everybody hears about Bitcoin, but they don't know blockchain, the technology. And I learned that that technology is going to disrupt every single industry on the planet today. Whether we like it or not, believe it or not, trust it or not, it is irrelevant what we believe. This is going to happen, and we are witnessing it live in front of our eyes every single day, even if you're not looking for it, because I've been doing crypto talk since 2018. So I had to go and look for information. Today, I just turn on the news and it's right in front of my face. We have a president that claims he wants to be the first Bitcoin president and wants the United States to lead the world in this technology. But he wasn't the first major figure to say so. Do you want to know who I heard from it first? Vladimir Putin in 2016. Before I really started to research this, there was two quotes he said. And I don't remember the exact quote anymore. It's been too long. But he says something to this effect. He said, the Stone Age didn't end due to the lack of stones. Look around on the ground. There's still stones on the ground. The Stone Age ended due to the introduction of better technology. Technology. And the countries that adopt this new technology, which is blockchain, is going to be the new world superpower. And the nations that do not will live underneath the thumb of the nations that do. I was talking to Miss Casa the other day. She made another point when we were talking about artificial intelligence. Everybody's afraid AI is going to take our jobs and whatnot. No, 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 no. It's not AI that you need to compete with. It's people who are using AI that you're going to need to compete with, using that technology. So I learned that, and that blockchain technology is bigger than the internet. And I think that we all can agree that the internet revolutionized the world. I think we can agree that. What happened next is the second thing that changed my entire perspective. See, if this is going to be bigger than the internet, that means that we now have almost 8 billion people on the planet that are going to be using this technology. Okay, whether we like it or not. The second thing, cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people. And that part was very important. The most amount of people. There have been other economic shifts in wealth. Money has changed over multiple times. Here's a pop quiz. What is the oldest form of currency that is still in circulation today? Type it in the chat box. Anybody know the answer to that? The oldest currency still in circulation today. If you go to the London Museum, they have an entire wing that talks about the history of money. And I'm actually going to talk about this in Vegas. We're going to talk about the river of money too. But they talk about going from cowrie shells, fast forwarding all the way at the end of the wall. It shows uh, dollars, checks, credit cards, cell phones, And then it had this up on the wall. And this is where I got this. I got this from London. It is a physical representation of Bitcoin. So you have the B on the front, and you've got the former Queen, Queen Elizabeth, on the back. Then I got this in London. I keep it right here on my desk. Oh, you know what else I keep on my desk too as a reminder how far I came? This little pin right here. It says ETT. When I first joined direct sales and network marketing, I joined a company called ACN. This was the very first title I ever got promoted to, executive team trainer. It was actually executive field trainer when I got started, EFT. But ETT, I keep this as a reminder too of how far I've come, because it took me a lot to get there. And I only had to have 3 people on my team to get that. And I made that happen. 20 customers and 3 independent reps. It took me a while to make that happen. I was so proud of that. But not to get sidetracked. The history of money. All of the other changes in history that we've experienced about financial revolutions, it wasn't meant for everybody. Not everybody had the ability to participate. The elite did, the ruling class, the powers that be, born in the right family. The gold rush, how many of your ancestors were able to participate in that? The Industrial Revolution, the computer age, the 90s, knowing what you know now, going back to the 90s, would you do things a little different? I was too young, but would you be able to do things a little different? I might have changed my focus, into maybe computer science. I'm a political science major. But today, you only need 3 things to participate in this financial revolution to change your family tree: cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn. If you have those 3 things, you are a walking ATM machine. There is nothing that can stop you. It doesn't matter where you were born, what language you speak, the color of your skin, your education level, what country you're in, the family, none of that matters. It's completely up to you. And it begins with education. When I got into crypto, I knew nothing about this. I spent 6 months teaching myself. I do not advise you to do so, because I found out that 50% of the information I found was incorrect and the other 50% was outdated. And I started with $30, not 5,000, not 50,000 or 100,000, but $30. My education allowed me to flip that $30 into 6 figures in a couple of months. And then in 2018, when Bitcoin, after hitting its all-time high, started to come down, I made more money when it came down than when it was going up. I remember it was January 14th or 15th or so. I made more money in one day than most people make a year on their job. I learned a lesson from that because I had to go to the wrong wallet. I got flagged, and that's where the education part comes in. But because of that, a lot of companies and organizations asked if I could consult and teach crypto education, create crypto education courses. I started doing Bitcoin boot camps around the country. Some of you guys have attended those from around the world, London. The furthest was Sweden. I did a Bitcoin boot camp in Sweden. Or was it Denmark? I was in both. I think Sweden and Denmark. No, none of you were here on that one. From Seattle to Denmark, that difference. I've traveled the world. I need to go to Asia. I need to go to Dubai. I haven't done that yet. I need to go to Africa. I haven't done that yet. But because of COVID, we weren't able to get out and do that anymore. And so we started doing it through Zoom. In fact, the University of Nigeria is using my crypto education courses. And so we started doing what we call 5-day challenges, Bitcoin boot camps. And once a month, at the end of every month, this is how we used to do the Bitcoin boot camp. For 1 hour a night, we teach the basics of what blockchain and Bitcoin is for the public at no cost. It's free. And guess when the next one starts? This Monday. So that's the next 5-day challenge. This month kind of snuck up on me. So the next 5-day challenge is this Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. For 1 hour, we're going to be covering what is the blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, how do wallets work, how do I buy Bitcoin, how do I move it and sell it for the first time, crypto security, how do I make money in Bitcoin. We're going to talk about that this week. And then we'll be on to the next, getting ready for the next 5-day challenge at the end of April. So that's what we started to do. But in the meantime, decided I wanted to create my own educational company instead of allowing other companies to utilize white label my education and they use it however they want to use it, which was most of the time not the right way. So when you want something done right, you do it yourself. And we launched and created ILCA, Ivy League Crypto Academy. Yeah, my last name is Ivy, so that was a great play on the word Ivy League, like Ivy League schools. So we created ILCA. And ILCA, we started off with only 4 courses, 4 lessons. Actually, no, 3 lessons. I added one later that year. Bitcoin 101, Crypto Advanced, How to Trade Bitcoin and Crypto, and Internet of Things. That was the very first. And then since then we have a total of 13 courses that we have right now, almost 200 videos. All of our videos are done through streaming video. You can stop, pause, rewind, go as you please. If you had a busy schedule, they're not long, anywhere between 5 minutes to 30 minutes long. I think the longest one might be a 45-minute video. I don't remember which course that is. But we cover from Bitcoin 101, Crypto Advanced, How to Trade Bitcoin and Crypto, Internet of Things, Decentralized Finance, NFTs, Metaverse, Web 3.0, Tokenization, Artificial Intelligence, and 3 more. Oh, Marty, we got to get these 3 ones up there, which is decentralization, CBDCs, and my favorite right now, where I am almost on a paranoid trip about security. Security. Security is everything. It's one thing to make the money and build your crypto portfolio and buy crypto tokens. It's a complete other thing to be able to keep it. And I am actually a little upset with myself for not doing that course sooner. But I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second here. So once you decide to get our courses, we have a platform where you can view all of it, whether on your computer or you can download our app and watch all the courses on your app. So here's an example of Bitcoin 101. We've got an introduction to Bitcoin and crypto. What is the blockchain? The birth of Bitcoin? How do cryptocurrencies work? Where to buy Bitcoin? Coinbase tutorial. I'm actually holding your hand and walking you through. I'll give you a quick little sneak peek of this. You can say, where do I buy Bitcoin for the very first time? All right, let me let this load up. While that's doing that, where to buy Bitcoin, types of wallets, protecting your investments and security. That was the very first. Oh, I know why. I got to refresh this. Protecting your investments and security. That was the very first security lesson I did. Coinbase tutorial works and operates on exchanges of Euro, PayPal, or for credit debit.
Exactly
to find your line, you'd have to sell your Bitcoin at whatever the new rate is, if you choose to sell
about
at all.
Bitcoin.
Also, how to use Exodus. Exodus is one of my most favorite wallets. I've never had an issue with them. Altcoins. Here's a one that's real important. I was talking to Marnita about this too. Becoming acquainted with Bitcoin and crypto lingo. One of the things when someone that's brand new that's starting to hear about Bitcoin and crypto, you start hearing words that don't mean anything to you. You don't understand what they mean. So it has its own language to it. So we cover
Communicate most
what
like holding on to a
what
specific.
is an altcoin? What does ATH mean? All-time high. Hodling, what does that mean? Or bear run, bull run, perma bears, POW, FOLO. We don't really use that anymore. It's more fear of missing out, FOMO, FOMO. Shills, what does that mean? What is an ICO? What is an ISO? Satoshis and sats. You better get familiar with this because in the next 5 years, it'll be extremely rare for you to meet anyone that owns one whole Bitcoin. You will be shocked. You'll be shocked to find out somebody owns a whole Bitcoin. It's going to be Satoshis, which is pieces of a Bitcoin. Satoshis refers to the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin. One Satoshi or one sat is 0.000000001 Bitcoin, 8 decimal points. We're not there yet, but we will be very soon. Pump and dumps. So we cover everything here, but I want to show you the security one. So if you have purchased our courses, you'll be able to come into our database here and be able to choose Bitcoin 101, Crypto Advanced, How to Trade Internet of Things, DeFi, NFTs, Metaverse, Tokenization, Artificial Intelligence, Web 3.0, plus our security, CBDCs, decentralization, but security. We just completed our Diamond class security lessons, and this is shocking, shocking to me. I learned, even though I put these courses together, I still learn going through it because of this right here. Crimeware as a service. You may not be aware, but the criminals have created software to teach other criminals how to be criminals. And they have an entire industry on this. This is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. They're professionals. North Korea has a group called the Lazarus Group, state-sponsored government organization with the sole purpose of stealing crypto. Do you know their latest steal was? From the Bybit exchange, they stole $1.4 billion. So this is not something to play with or skip. This information is priceless. And I just put this together 3 months ago. I started in December and I added this one in January, Crimeware as a Service. But in our Inner Circle Crypto Talks, I learned of at least 3 more new scams to be aware of that I was not aware of before. That's got me on such a paranoid tip now when it comes to dealing with crypto and being safe with your crypto that I also know, and I like to keep it transparent 100%. When you get involved, I guarantee you will lose money in the crypto space. Okay? I guarantee it. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, and I don't know how much. But what I do know is that your education will limit the risk you take so you don't lose everything. Last year, Californians that got hacked, the average person lost $144,000. Last year in the United States, just from the pig butchering scam alone, which is this one, the average person lost $22,500. Do you even know what pig butchering is? Have you ever heard of that before? See, these are the things that we like to uncover, which is why I do crypto talks almost daily. And what do I mean by crypto talks? Well, there's another part of our education that we have is our memberships. You can join our memberships, our Inner Circle, our Diamond, and our Platinum. These memberships get you access to me live, not just video recordings. So you can be an Inner Circle, Diamond, and Platinum member. And then we also added a partnership program. For those of you who say, well, Brandon, I have a large community. I would like to white label your crypto education so I can brand myself, brand my organization, and sell your crypto. And we have that as well, where you can white label it. It doesn't have my name. It doesn't have my company. None of my videos, all the videos are generic. It doesn't have ILCA on there. It doesn't have me speaking my name. It's just my voice, not even my picture. So for those of you who want to be able to do that, I'm going to talk about that in a second. But what I really wanted to highlight today was this term. Let me ask you guys a question. Who wants to make money? Type me in the chat box. Because one thing that I've learned, I know what people need. People need crypto education. But I also know what people want. People want to make money. Unfortunately, most people have not made the connection yet that the more educated they are in crypto, the more money they make and the more money they keep. Instead, 95% of people who get involved with crypto get involved through hearing about an opportunity, an organization, something that was promoted on social media, or how to make money with Bitcoin. And they join a program, and now they're trying to learn as they go, and they end up losing some, most, if not everything. I'm going to give you guys 4 free rules I operate in the crypto space. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. That's why it's number 1. Rule number 2, never invest money you can't afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on your investment back as fast as possible. Rule number 4, what is your goals? Short term, long term, 3 months, 6 months, 5 years, a year, 10 years from now. Where do you want to be? Once you figure that out, then you can plan backwards. Most people try to make a plan first and have no idea what their ultimate goal is going to be. They don't know what it looks like. I know what my ultimate goal looks like, billionaire. How I'm going to make that happen? Work backwards. Find a vehicle, stay focused, do not get distracted. The one thing about the blockchain, and you'll hear this on the 5-day challenge next week when I talk about how to make money in blockchain, is that it's going to encompass every industry. So whatever your current background is right now, you'll be able to find a place for it in the blockchain. People think, do I have to learn something new? Do I have to go back to school? No, whatever your profession is right now, all you have to figure out is how is this going to be impacted with blockchain technology? That's all you got to do. You know, there was this couple out in Atlanta or Georgia somewhere that they owned a duck farm and their farm was about to be repossessed. Well, guess what they did? They created NFTs out of their ducks, put it up on sale, and raised $100,000 in a week and saved their farm. They used blockchain technology in the field they're already in. Me, for example, before I was even in crypto, I was known as a mindset business coach. I'm very big on personal development and self-improvement. I did that for years. Companies would fly me out, pay me $5,000 for the day just to talk about personal development, motivation, inspiration. By the way, that's going to be part 2 of ILCA, Ivy League Coaching Academy. I'm not there yet, but I will be putting an entire course together on that. So when I got into crypto, I just continued to do what I was already doing before, teaching. That's what I'm good at, teaching and networking. I just found a lane for it in blockchain and crypto. People who were traders, they were trading on the stock market and Forex. They get into crypto, they're doing the same thing. They're just trading crypto, using the same skills and knowledge. Artists, authors, I mean, it's endless. So whatever it is you're doing right now, there's a place for it on the blockchain. You just got to figure that out. I can't tell that for you. All I can do is open the door and show you what's possible. But we'll talk about that on the last day of our 5-day challenge. But let's talk about making money. I do like the concept of earning while you learn. How can you earn money through ILCA? Well, here's how. First, you got to become a member. If you're an Inner Circle member at $49 a month, when you share ILCA with anybody else, meaning you know people out there need crypto education badly, very badly. They come to ILCA and purchase anything within our suite of products. I'm going to pay you 5% commission. 5% commission. Unlimited. This is not MLM. There's no multiple levels. There's not even 2 levels. And how people have been asking me, some of the networks, Brandon, can we do 2 levels? I can. I can do it. I'm just not ready to do it yet. If there's a demand for that, if we have a large network happening, then it is possible. I can do that. But right now, it's just one level. You earn 5%. If you are a diamond member, $115 a month, then you earn 10%. That 10%, do you know how I was able to walk off my job and retire in direct selling? It's because most of the companies I was a part of, I earned at least 10 to 12% of all of my production. I think in my career now, I think we've generated 75 to $100 million in sales. I think in my career, maybe more. And most of that I earned less than 10%. So, but I was able to walk off my job. The very first company that used my crypto education, they made $5 million in like 6, 7 months. If you're a platinum member at $149 a month, I'm going to pay you 20% commission. That means, if you are a part of a direct sales company right now, even by hitting the top position of the company, you'd be lucky to get 20%. But I'm going to pay you 20% if you're a platinum member sharing ILCA with others. But now let's dream mode. If you're I'm sorry, well, a partner in our, this, say it founder because it's ilcafounders.com. If you want to be a partner with us, ilcafounders.com. The cost of being in our partnership program, and let me tell you first what it looks like. And I'm going to use, do I still have this up? Carla Arrigo. Is Carla on here right now? Carla is one of our partners. How would you like me also to promote you? Because we're going to be putting all of our partners on our main page. Why would I do that? Well, one, you're selling my crypto education courses cheaper than I'm selling them for. If you want all 13 of my courses, it's going to cost $24.99. If you're a partner, you're selling it for $9.99 for all 13 courses. And you're not going to earn 20% commission. You're going to earn 50% commission because we're partners. Nowhere on here does it say ILCA, does it say Brandon Ivey, or does it even have my picture? Now, there are some out there that want me on their partnership program, and that's fine. But the entire point of this is you might be your own entrepreneur. You might have your own products to sell. You may have your own community. You've got your own list that you're trying to build, and you're trying to keep everything in-house. One thing you may lack is legitimate product to market to them that is helpful, that is needed. So you don't even have to create the courses. I do. And you sell them at a discount. Now, if you're selling them for $9.99, you're getting half. Let's just say you're earning $500 per sell. How much money can you make? Well, let's say, well, Brandon, I don't have that much big of a community, but I know people keep asking me every day about what's this Bitcoin and how can I get involved in. And I could sell a little bit. I could share it with people. But let me tell you something. Let's dream mode for a second. Let's say we're now coming to the end of March and you get yourself set up because it takes about 2 weeks once you decide to become a partner to get yourself and everything set up. So you're going into April and you help 10 people get crypto educated. 10. 10. Buy the courses. You earn $500 a piece. You just made $5,000. Who wants to make an extra $5,000 in the month of April? See, I am a businessman. And as a businessman, and Mr. C, let me hit you right back. I'm doing my crypto talk. I'll be soon. All right. That's big money I had to handle there. I am a businessman. That was a very big business call. That's a six-figure call. And I always set goals. I say, okay, next month I want to make 25,000. Next month I want to make 70,000. Now that I know what that goal is, what do I need to do to do it? So if I want to make $5,000 next month from scratch, I'm a partner. Can I find 10 people that need crypto education in the month of April? Let's go a little bit bigger. Let's say, Brandon, I got a larger community. I know 50 people who need crypto education right off the back. 50 people. You just made $25,000. Like I said, you're a walking ATM machine. Another page of your site's going to look like is like this, for example, too. This is Carla's page as well, where it's not just ILCA. It's whatever you want to market on here, we can put on here. For example, Carla's got MoveQuest. Hey, Carla, aren't you in Fix as well? You got MoveQuest here. So if she wants to put the site out there and people want to join her MoveQuest, and I have another strategy as well that I want to help 100 people. I want to help 100 people that want to make at least $2,500 to $5,000 a month using MoveQuest. That's a whole nother strategy, but right now I'm just talking about just with ILCA. Now, I want to talk to the bigger person here. Those of you who you understand that your money is in your list. You ever heard of that term before? And if you understand marketing, it doesn't matter what you market, 2% of the population will always buy what you're selling. Okay? You can sell tires on the side of a freeway, ice to an Eskimo, doesn't matter. 2% will always buy. Why do you think commercials, companies spend millions of dollars on commercials, $5 million for a 30-second Super Bowl ad? Because it's about how many eyeballs is looking at your site. Okay? So let's just say you have a list of 10,000 people and you send one email blast out to them about you're offering some great crypto education for only $9.99. And out of those 10,000 people, only 2% decide to purchase. 2%. That means 98% say, no, I don't need it. What does that look like? That's 200 sales. 200 times $500. You just made $100,000. So what if you said to yourself, you know what? 2025, my goal is help 200 people to get crypto educated. You just made $100,000. Who wants to be a millionaire? Remember that game show? Who wants to be a millionaire? Well, let's up those numbers just a bit. Let's first start off with, if you have an ultimate goal of helping 1,000 people get crypto educated, well, that's $500,000 right there. 2,000 people, you just made $1 million. Numbers are perfect. Numbers don't lie. It's just a numbers game at the end of the day. So if I'm a businessman, that's my goal. 1,000 or 2,000. And we're offering that to you right here inside of ILCA. The next thing is not about making the money, but what you do with it after you make it. Now you made the money, then you take that and you go ahead and start to build your crypto portfolio. Now you saw what I was able to do with $30. What could you do if you made 5,000 last month to say, okay, I'm going to pocket 2,500. I'm going to take the other 2,500 and use it to dollar cost average or purchase and start building my crypto portfolio. If you're in a position to do that, what would you do? Would you be able to do it? See, the first mistake I made when I made 7 figures for the first time, I didn't know what to do with it. And the only thing I thought was increase my lifestyle. And that was a mistake. Because you have to understand finances. Finances go up and down too. But when you increase your lifestyle, it's very hard to have a higher lifestyle and then bring it back down. So I learned the hard way. So I don't make that mistake again. But it's about what you do with the money now that you have it. Financial literacy is so important on top of this as well. So this is our partnership program and how you can earn money with ILCA simply by sharing it with others, and you will earn an affiliate commission, and you decide whether 5% to 50%. Now, For those who say, let me give you another example of why you want to be a platinum member. If you were to go to purchase my courses, the total cost of all of my courses is $24.99 to get all of my courses. $24.99. Oh, we got some bundle packs as well that you can have. You see this? $24.99 to get all of my courses. Oh, we got to update this one too. That says $14.97. That was the discount I was doing last month. However, the cost of being a partner, if you are not a member of ILCA, is a one-time setup fee of $2,500 and $199 a month to maintain. If you are already a member in our community, it's a one-time setup fee of $1,000 and $199 a month to maintain. But that $199, you're getting everything that the platinum member is getting. So platinum is $149, so just $50 more and a $1,000 setup fee. So not only will you have access to all the crypto and education and everything ILCA has to offer, you're able to sell it and earn 50% commission. But here's the kicker. You're actually becoming a platinum member at less than the cost if you were just to buy all of my crypto courses outright for $24.99. So it's cheaper to be a platinum member than to buy my courses. I'm just saying, think smart here. So that is what I wanted to highlight for today and what ILCA is all about. I'm gonna switch to do crypto talk to give you an idea of what it means to be a part of our inner circle and our community, and when we meet 4 days a week. But starting off, because we have ilcachallenge.com this coming Monday. Oh, I'll pull it up here. To register, ilcachallenge.com to register. This is where you start. So 5-day crypto challenge, register for free. Again, it's free. You'll receive an email with instructions. If you sign up and you don't receive an email, make sure you just check your spam. Coming from support@ivyleaguecryptoacademy.com. You'll also get a free ebook, Bitcoin for Beginners. Okay, you get a free ebook. And you'll get information if you want to upgrade to become a VIP member or a diamond member. Our inner circle is ilcacryptonews.com. So for those of you that want to be in our inner circle, this is the backbone of ILCA community. This is where the majority of the community members are. They meet with me 4 days a week privately, and then you see them on here with us too for Saturday when I do it public. But you want to be a part of our inner circle, $49 a month, ilcacryptonews.com, and we will do crypto talk. And the next one will be this Monday. But let me do a sneak peek right now. So let me jump on into what is crypto talk. Well, crypto talk is I am looking at what's going on in the crypto world today in real time. And I've been doing this since 2018, and I used to do it twice a day. Early morning crypto talk and late night crypto talk. And the reason why, because there was so much crypto news that I had to break it up in two. Now, I don't do the crypto talk to be entertaining, or am I actually doing it to train all of you guys? The crypto talk was designed for me. This is how I learn. This is how I stay on top of it. Who is my professor? The world. I don't have a teacher for crypto. I've got to figure this out myself. So I've taken my knowledge and education, and this is how I get more knowledgeable. So I taught myself how to read the charts. So for example, the first thing we look at is the charts. I use CoinGecko. A lot of people use CoinMarketCap. So let me refresh this. Let's see. As of right now, the market cap is at 2.85 trillion. We were down 1.6% in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance 58.4%, Ethereum 8.38%. That doesn't look like it has changed in the last 2 days. Looks like the same as Thursday night last time we did it. Did I make any note on anything to say what to look at? outside of entangled. Well, I'm not going to do that publicly. That's on the inner circle. NTGL. All right, let's see here. Anything catching my eye? Pi Network is trending. Okay. Bitcoin Beam is trending. Why? This is not a new token. This has been around. Bitcoin is at 84,000. It is slightly up 0.4% in the last 24 hours, slightly down on the week, 0.1%. Ethereum is still below $2,000, though it is up 1.8% in the last 24 hours. We got to go week to week. Last time I did a real public one, Ethereum is still up 3% on the week. Ripple, though, and this one's actually surprising me. After all the new Ripple news that's been out, I expected this to be much higher than it is, but it's kind of flatline right now. BNB slightly down 1.5. Solana, though, is up 2.1%. Cardano slightly down. Doge is up 1.4. Chainlink is up 2.3. Toncoin, Stellar, Avalanche is up 5.3. Shiba Inu, Sui. Oh, yes, I do. Send that over to me, Miss Casa. I will show that off. Pi Network, that's why it's trending. Pi dropped 9.6% in 24 hours, 31.4% on the week. Bitcoin Cash. Oh, any outlier here? Oh, here's an outlier. While the market is down, hype is up 9.8% in 24 hours, 7.9% on the week. Okay. All right, best performers in 24 hours. Hype, Bonk. I have this in one of my wallets, Hype. And we found this in Crypto Talk maybe a year ago. Bonk, Immutable, Aptos, Avalanche, Maker, Cosmos Hub, Render, Sonic, Celestia, Lido DAO, Chronos. This is the Crypto.com wallet. Inner Circle, you guys know I gave you guys a list of approved wallets that I endorse. Put it that way. I can't give financial advice, but wallets that I endorse, that's one of them. Filecoin, Jupiter, Aave, The Graph, Monero, Movement. All right, that's a lot of green for a market that is slightly down. So which ones are down? Pi Network, yeah, but the down is big. Pi Network, Dexy, Entangles. Whoa, this sucker dropped 40% on the week, down 7.2% 24 hours. Remember, what did I tell you guys in Crypto Talk? You know what to do. As soon as you see go up, then you sell. And you sell 50% and let the other rest ride. But we'll talk about this on Monday. I want to see what this price is on Monday because we might find another buying opportunity. What did I do? Like $10? Litecoin, Story, BNB, Flare. Okay. Next thing I do is I actually cover the news button and GeoPulse. But before I do that, I've been given permission to show another one of our partners that's just getting themselves set up as well, Miss Maggie. And I have not seen this yet. Oh, nice. And I haven't seen this yet. So Maggie is targeting the Asian community that needs crypto education. So we're having this. Yeah, well, yeah, it's not completed yet, but it's just a good example. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. So Maggie actually wants to clone what we have at ILCA and putting it in multiple languages. This is powerful. Maggie, can you imagine? I'm going to dream mode with you for 1 second here. I'm going to dream mode with you. And I do know who you are and I know what you're capable of. So I'm not going to, what's the word? Speak in small numbers. Let's go big. 10,000 people come to Maggie's site and purchase the crypto courses. That's $5 million. Now we're talking my level. This is my language. 10,000 $500 a piece. That's $5 million. Do we go bigger? I've had organizations of more than 100,000 people in different companies. 50,000 at $500. That's 25 million. Am I getting anybody's attention here? What did I say my goal is? Billionaire. I designed and created ILCA for the person who has no money because we do the 5-day challenge for free. I give away an ebook for free. I do free crypto talks at least now twice a week. So nobody can say we're not offering something for free for the little guy. But then I have something in place for the multimillionaire, the individual that doesn't have time to hop on crypto talks, to have time to hop on diamond classes or to do the 5-day challenges. And they've got networks. They have investments that they want to put money into. $25 million. So the question is, who wants it? Who wants it? All right, this looks great. I can't wait to see what this finished product is going to look like. And that even means anybody else that might want to have their site and they have different languages. What about Spanish? What about French? Tagalog, Russian. All right. Next thing I do is we look at the news. And the news, why? And we cover geopolitics, not because we want to debate politics, not because we want to see who's right and who's wrong. No, that's not what we're about. We need to know what is actually going on, not what should go on. Do you understand the difference? We need to know what is happening and how that's going to impact our markets and our portfolio. And that will let us know how we need to maneuver and move. This is why it pays to be in the inner circle. It is too numerous for me to count how many times our community has found stuff and won from my crypto talks. It is priceless. It's in the millions of dollars. Millions. I had one person, this was before I created ILCA, that contacted me, and I used to do Facebook Live type stuff, and said, hey, Brad, I just wanted to thank you. I made more than $2 million from your crypto talk last month. I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, yeah, well, you found something, and I saw you write a note, and you wrote it down, so I did too, but I acted on it. And that person put more than $70,000. I did not tell them to put $70,000 on it, but he did. And it made him $2 million. And that person wants to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. He's quiet. He doesn't want a target on his back. You will never see this person on any lives or anything. That person likes to watch replays. But he said, I just wanted to thank you for that. I didn't even know that person was watching me. They're not a member of our community. So you never know what you're going to find, what we're going to find, what we're going to do. So we cover the news because the news can impact the charts. A lot of people on YouTube and whatnot, crypto enthusiasts, all they want to do is read the charts. Well, let me see what the chart is telling me, and I'm going to be able to predict what's happening. No, you're not. This is a better accurate prediction of what's going to happen with the markets. So today, let's see what we've got. Ripple CEO confident that XRP is poised for U.S. crypto stockpile and ETF approval. Ripple CEO expects significant XRP growth amid potential U.S. crypto reserve inclusion and ETF approval, citing a favorable regulatory shift. So XRP is poised for U.S. crypto stockpile and ETF breakthrough. So Inner Circle members, I'm not going to even read this article because we talked about this earlier this week. The signs are here. Okay. So you know what to do when it concerns to Ripple. Then we have who's running in Trump's race to make US a Bitcoin superpower? In the game to establish the US as a Bitcoin superpower, is Trump playing alone? Oh, okay, this is going to get my attention. Who else is doing it? What other countries out there outside of El Salvador? So, President Donald Trump wants to make his country a Bitcoin. His country. Who wrote this article? Aaron Wood. I wonder where he's from. Hold on. I always I research everything. You guys, if you've never seen my crypto talks, I don't read to read, I read to understand. Hmm. Editor and Cointon doesn't tell where he is, but the fact that he didn't say our country, he said his country, may not be an American. Okay. That matters because there's a spin I can follow. So he wants to make his country a Bitcoin superpower, but the question remains as to who he is competing against. Speaking at Blockworks Digital Assets Summit, and this is why I attend blockchain expos, and I'm going to the Blockchain 2025 in Vegas in May. This is my first one in probably 2 years outside of local, 2 years that I'm going to. On March 20th, to a crowd of crypto industry executives and observers, said, "Together we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world." The U.S. crypto industry has benefited greatly from preferential executive orders coming out of Trump's White House, including the establishment of a strategic Bitcoin reserve, a move advocates regard as a key metric for Bitcoin adoption. However, many other countries, including major U.S. trade partners, are just not ready to take on Bitcoin as a reserve asset, begging the question of who the U.S. is competing against to become a Bitcoin superpower. Yeah, who are we competing against? U.S. allies, trade partners, and rivals aren't competing on Bitcoin. Really? U.S. allies, trade partners, and rivals aren't competing? Compared to major trade partners and geopolitical rivals, the U.S. is certainly far ahead of the game in terms of Bitcoin adoption. Okay. I'm questioning this. You either don't know or you're being very specific here. There's a difference between Bitcoin adoption and blockchain adoption. If you don't know the difference, type me in the chat box. There's a difference between Bitcoin adoption and blockchain adoption. Vladimir Putin's been talking about this technology since at least 2016. In fact, in 2014, he had already sent message to the Russian banks to start to investigate this. Ooh, Craig Jones says, yeah, please explain the difference. Bitcoin adoption is adopting the currency itself and integrating the currency into your financial portfolio. Blockchain adoption, however, is introducing the technology so that you will be able to create a suite of products and services in the digital era, Web 3.0, which is the next version of the internet, where Bitcoin is just one of many. Okay. So in 2016, when Trump was president the first time, he said Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme. It's a scam. It is fake money. The US dollar is the only real money. Whereas countries like Russia, let's see if we do it. Brazil, China, oh wait, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Yeah, I got that right. They bonded together and called themselves BRICS. They're adapting or adopting blockchain technology so that they can now use a new technology system outside of the SWIFT political system that they can avoid US sanctions and they can do trade with each other. They're going to digitize their own money, which is called it's called CBDC, a central bank digital coin, and do trade amongst themselves and completely block out the dollar so that they don't have to get permission from the United States. So that's why I question this. While those countries may not say they are doing Bitcoin adoption, they are definitely ahead of the curve than the United States on blockchain adoption, which is bigger. So it's important to know that. So as I read this article, I'm able to tell what's real and what's not and what's BS. So neither the European Union, China, Mexico, or Canada have taken such drastic steps towards. That's not correct. South Korea and Japan both said in 2019 that they want to lead the world in Bitcoin adoption. El Salvador has already made it a national currency with them and part of their strategic business. In fact, I think South Korea was the first. China. Do you know what nation was the largest Bitcoin mining operation in the world? China. And then they passed a law and banned it in 2000, the summer of 2017. And then they bring it back, and then they ban it again, and then they bring it back. Do you know which nation on the planet has the largest pilot programs on digital assets? Cashless society? China. China has more students on the honor roll than there are students in America. So while America is busy wanting to get rid of the Department of Education, China is light speed ahead of us. And they don't have to abide by our rules and laws. They're creating their own tech, even if it's copying some things in the United States and the West. AI is they're on a whole nother frontier than we are. So the guy writing this article, what the hell are you talking about? United States is late to the party. Biden messed that up. We should be at least, well, it started with Trump. We should be at least 8 years ahead right now because Trump certainly didn't adopt this when he was president the first time. Biden went freaking nuclear on it the last 4 years. And now that Trump has a change of heart, and I have my own theories as to why, again, I try not to run and get into personal opinion on certain things, but it doesn't matter why he's doing it. And since he's doing it now we can't say, okay, America decides to play. We're leading the world on this now. No, we're not. Don't let the propaganda, the hype get you. And it's okay to say that as an American. China, the US largest trade partner by far, and also its most prominent geopolitical opponent, has taken a strong stance against the asset. Yes, but not the technology. Initially banning it outright before softening its approach slightly. China now allows mining operations, but strictly prohibits the use of Bitcoin. If you understand the history of China and crypto, it's been dichotomous. See, the powers that be love the technology for its independence and it can break away from the West and not needing permission of the United States, anything for the last 80 years, which is what they want. The new global superpower, China. But the problem is it's a communist nation. Bitcoin is freedom. Bitcoin, there is no government, company, entity that has control over it. It's freedom for the people. So China's like, we want the technology, but we can't let the people have economic freedom as far as Bitcoin because we're a communist nation. But they do have another way of doing it. There's another thing you're going to have to know the difference between. You have to know the difference between digital coins and crypto coins. Is there anybody that does not know the difference? Because you're going to hear that term a lot. Just like there's a difference between stable coins and CBDC, coins and tokens. So there's a difference between digital and crypto. China is far ahead on the idea of digital. They have a more cashless society than we do in America. Their cell phones is like the bank. It's connected to the banks. Cell phone, use that to pay for everything, not cash. So it's important to understand how this is going. In fact, anybody know which country has the largest amount of pilot programs going on in different cities in their country? Anybody know the answer to that when it comes to digital? I already gave you a hint. China. Then Russia has, at last count, I think 7 or 8 cities that they've got little pilot programs going on where they're using cashless society and strictly digital. Certain cities in America is trying to do that too. Here's another pop quiz. Which was the first city in America to attempt to adopt its own crypto token? The first city in America. Anybody know the answer to that? All right. So China now allows mining operations after previously banning it. Overall, the government has preferred. Oh, that is great information. Thank you, Kenny. So Aaron Wood, yeah, he's from Georgia. I knew he wasn't an American the way he was talking here. But being from Georgia, I'm surprised he's taken this. Oh, America's here now. No other country's doing it but America. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you guys don't know the answer to that. All right, the answer is Miami. Ukishara got the state right, Florida, but it was the city of Miami. Miami was the first city. The mayor of Miami, I forgot his name. So overall, the government has preferred to concentrate its efforts on developing a retail. Oh, okay, I give them that. A retail bank digital currency. So what is that? CBDC. This is where education is important. So if you've gone through my courses and now you're looking at the news, you know what this means. What's the difference between a CBDC and crypto? Well, CBDC, the word is right there. It's central. It is centralized. The whole point of blockchain is to be decentralized. So you got to know the difference so you don't get hoodwinked. The European Union, another major US trade partner, passed its markets and crypto assets regulatory framework in May 2023, which came into full implementation by member states at the end of 2024. The European Union is ahead of America as well. While the dang it, we keep reading it. While the EU is ahead of the US in terms of passing concrete legislation, it offers far less preferential terms to the industry than those expected. Okay, no, see, I don't like that. We're talking about what's happening right now. He says, and this is where this is loaded. The EU is ahead of terms of the US in terms of passing actual legislation. But he says it is less than what the US is expected to do. US hasn't done it yet. So this article is a fallacy if you don't know how to read this. You would think, oh, the US is already leading the way. No, it's not. On the road to, we could. Crypto user penetration in the EU is expected to remain essentially stagnant this year, and crypto's popularity is low overall among its wealthiest economies. No member state has a Bitcoin reserve. That is true. Even in crypto-friendly Switzerland, which saw 52.4 billion in U.S. service exports in 2024, there are limits to crypto endorsement and adoption. On March 1st, Swiss National Bank President Martin Schlegel said Bitcoin wasn't suitable as a reserve asset, citing stability, liquidity concerns, and security. Of course, they're not going to say that. Where's the IMF, the International Monetary Fund? If you are already on top of the world and you're controlling the world's financial system, why in the world would you want to try to adopt Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a rebellion against the system. So they will be the last to want to adopt it. Germany's central bank chief, Joachim Nagel, has also dismissed the idea of a Bitcoin reserve, of course, while Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has previously criticized Bitcoin as being a poor form of money. That is true. So if you're looking at Western nations, Trump is the first to come out and say, yeah, we're going to do this. But the world is not Western nations. You're completely dismissing all of the other nations out there. They matter. Let me not go down that trip. South Korea doesn't feel ready to hold Bitcoin as a reserve asset, with the Bank of Korea stating that Bitcoin is volatile and does not meet internet. Look at who they're listening to. International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The IMF blasted El Salvador for doing it, and then they had to turn around and apologize about it. Russia, for its part, has allowed crypto to be used in international settlements to what? I already told you guys earlier, circumvent sanctions. And let me give you guys, if you're watching this for the very first time too, I do not read these articles beforehand. In fact, how I come to these articles, my assistant Marnita posts them on her channel. And if you guys have not done so, you might want to become a subscriber. Making Moves with YE. So she posts all the articles first thing in the morning. I wake up, I come here, and all I do is open them up onto my dashboard. I don't read them. I just look at the headline. I don't read them at all until we're live because this is how I learn. All I'm doing is teaching myself and turning the camera and the microphone on and taking you guys with me on the journey. So I just want you guys to know I don't read this stuff beforehand. The central bank is also preparing a 3-year experiment to allow select investors to trade crypto. Isn't that interesting? Some legal scholars in the country have suggested establishing a crypto fund consisting of assets seized in criminal proceedings. Let me tell you guys something. They already do. They just haven't publicized it yet. Russia has been building, they've been stockpiling gold, precious metals, and crypto for a decade. They just haven't publicly said it yet. Critics and proponents lambast strategic Bitcoin reserve. Critics have questioned the strategic value of U.S. Bitcoin reserve and who it benefits in the long run. Look, these are people who don't know nothing. What is the best asset by far the past decade? It's Bitcoin. So why in the world would you not have it as a strategic reserve? It only makes sense. Instead, you value just printing money out of thin air for free. Now, I was just watching Den of Thieves on Netflix, I think it was, the first one. I'm not going to give a spoiler alert, but they were able to pull off a heist without nobody knowing what was going on. The fiat money is a scam. Robert Kiyosaki said so. It's true. Yet Bitcoin, that is like digital gold, they say, oh, it's too volatile. Really? It got to $108,000 in 15 years. Cornell economics professor Eswar Prasad said, this is neither a strategic nor sensible idea, but instead benefits Bitcoin holders while sticking U.S. taxpayers with the bill and exposing the government to financial risk. This is the dumbest thing. How are you an economics professor and you make a dumb statement like this? This is complete. See, this is why I had to drop out of being a business major. Now, I'm a sidetrack and tell you a little story. Now, it wasn't Professor Oscar Sistrunk that you guys have me have. I was in one of his clap courses, but it wasn't him. So while I was at Morehouse, I was a business major at first. There were two things that made me change to political science. One, I had a tough time passing the doggone calculus 3, whatever. The second was I was in a class with a professor and he's talking about all of the strategies when it comes to building a business and investing and how you move and microeconomics and macroeconomics. And I was intrigued. And I was like, wow, this is some good stuff. So I raised my hand. I said, hey, can you give us some examples of some businesses and that you created and some moves that you've made using these technology, this strategy? And his response was, no, 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 young man, I am the teacher. I'm teaching you. I've got students that I said, no, no, I'm talking, what have you done before you became a professor? And you utilize these techniques. And I had my pad. I was ready. I wasn't trying to be a little asshole. He took it that way. He thought I was trying to, get him. I wasn't. But the other student, I didn't realize what was going on until I saw my other brothers were kind of snickering a little bit, looking at me. And I was like, what? What? What's going on? He was like, no, you don't understand. I am the professor. I teach. And then I said this, and I wish because I'm older now and I'm an educator, I wish I could take back what I said because it was kind of disrespectful. But I said, I mean, how can you teach me about the strategies on becoming a successful businessman if you didn't use these strategies to become successful yourself? Sometimes they say, your parents say, sometimes you don't need to speak out loud. The whole class got quiet, and the look on his face, and I knew immediately then, Brandon, you could have said that to him in private. I didn't have to bust him out like that publicly. And I apologized to him later. And I'm like, you were right. You're right. He said, and I have made moves. It's just I was not my job to signify what I personally do in front of the classroom. That's not. And I said, why not? Why not? We want to learn from people who's done it. I don't teach on nothing I haven't already done. I made seven figures in this. It started with $30. Start from the bottom and now you're here. I'm not preaching something I haven't done. Anyways, got off a tangent. So I look this Cornell economics professor. He knows nothing about Bitcoin, or it's either two things. And if I was in his class, I would tell him now. Two things, Professor Prasad. Either you're lying to us or you're ignorant as to how this technology works. Which one is it? Which one is it? It's one or the other. You choose. Are you lying to us or you just don't know? I'd rather you tell me you don't know because then you can take the summer, take a sabbatical, educate yourself, and then next year, let's see if you say the same thing. But if you're lying to me, then that means you have an agenda and you are pushing an agenda purposefully misleading us. The IMF has an agenda purposely misleading us. Jamie Dimon, when he said Bitcoin is people going to get killed over that. I'm going to fire anybody that buys Bitcoin if you work for my company. Warren Buffett and his right-hand man Charlie Munger, RIP Charlie Munger, said Bitcoin is rat poison squared. But then goes and invests $500 million in Bitcoin assets privately. Follow what they do, not what they say. Okay, I'm going way off. I'm give you inner circle stuff. Let me get off of that. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, this article is actually kind of pissing me off a little bit. Let's move on to the next one. Tether seeks Big Four firm for its first full financial audit. Tether CEO Powell. Now this is getting my attention. I told you guys that there's two things that scare me about crypto that I think will bring the crypto crash. Oh, don't be scared by it, or it's inevitable. There will be a crypto crash. Uh, crash. There will be. So, is that a bad thing? No. There was a dot-com crash too. Remember the dot-com bubble that burst? So, when that happens, it's going to be a reset and it's going to be a huge opportunity. It's going to wipe out all of these BS tokens that's out there. Look at the 17,000 tokens that's recognized by Coinbase. There's millions of tokens, 1,200 exchanges. In my opinion, when the crash happens, this will drop to about 500 coins recognized and about 50 exchanges globally when the dust settles. And then it will regrow from there. I mean, how many of you are still using AOL dial-up internet today? How many of you are still going to Blockbuster Video? Or are you using Netflix? That it's going to change. The technology of blockchain today, your children, well, not even then, in the next 10 years, is going to be laughing at where we are right now. Like, man, you guys had to use those. You had to use Uniswap. You had MetaMask. The same way I laugh at you had Ether wallets back in the day, paper wallets for crypto. Nobody does that today. But anyways, I am afraid that Tether's going to cause or be a catalyst to cause a crypto crash. Why? Because it's so big. Tether right now is $143 billion market cap. This goes down, this entire thing tanks. It won't kill it, but I'm also waiting. If that does happen, I'm buying I'm selling everything to buy because it will bounce back up. So one of the major problems with Tether is, have they been fully audited the proper way? They've done internal audits, but no external audit has been allowed. So now let's see, the CEO is now says a full audit is a top priority. Do you guys wonder why? Hmm. Why is that a top priority? What do they know that they want to get in on and they know they can't unless this takes place? Inner Circle, you should know the answer to this because we play connect the dots. But I will give this one for free away to everybody. The US government with Donald Trump signed an executive order banning CBDC. So instead, the United States will be now pushing something else. It's not going to be Bitcoin. It's going to be stable coin. So all the stable coins, including Ripple, are going to be positioning themselves to make sure they get that government endorsement. I believe that the US government will create its own stablecoin. The banks, the Federal Reserve will create its own. But if they use ones that's out there, who's in the best position for them to choose? Tether, Ripples, USDC, those three. So that is why I think they're making this move. Now let me see if if he gives a different reason why. Why is it all of a sudden a top priority now when we've been screaming this since 2016? Why is it a top priority now? Stablecoin issuer Tether is reportedly engaging with a Big Four accounting firm to audit its reserve and verify that its USDT stablecoin is backed at a 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, Coinbase took them to court. The IRS took them to court, and they never revealed. Paolo reportedly said the audit process would be more straightforward under pro-crypto US President Donald Trump. That is true. I don't know. Have we seen his tax returns yet? Are they still being gathered since 2015? It comes after rising industry concerns over a potential FTX-style liquidity crisis. That's my concern. For Tether, due to its lack of third-party audits. Hey, Diamond class members, we just covered audits, what, 2 weeks ago? But that was smart contract audits. If the President of the United States says this is a top priority for the US, Big Four auditing firms will have to listen. So we are very happy with that. He's mentioning Donald Trump, stablecoin, getting a third-party audit. What were the 5 tokens? I'm not going to say, I'm just going to let you guys type it in the chat box. What were the 5 tokens that the United States wants to put for a strategic reserve? Because this will explain why Ripple's doing what it's doing too. It's our top priority all of a sudden. It was reported that Tether is currently subject to quarterly reports, but not a full independent annual audit, which is much more extensive and provides more assurance to investors and regulators. However, you guys are inner circle, you're getting it. Arduino did not specify which of the big four accounting firms, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, Deloitte, or KPMG, he plans to engage. Tether just released the attestation for fourth quarter highlights. Yeah. I want to know, because last time they were checked, they said, oh, we've got it in a bunch of different things. It's not just the US dollar. Now they're saying it's all back to the 1-to-1 to the dollar. Tether maintains its stable value by claiming to be pegged to the US dollar at a 1-to-1 ratio. This means each USDT token is backed by reserves equivalent to its circulating supply. These reserves include traditional currency, cash equivalents, and other assets. Earlier this month, Tether hired Simon McWilliams as chief financial officer in preparation for a full financial audit. Oh, they're confident. They're confident. That gives me a little bit more confidence. In September 2024, Cyber Capital founder Justin Bonds was among those in the industry who voiced concerns about Tether's lack of transparency. Really, I voiced concern in 2018. Tether is one of the biggest existential threats to. Hey, see that? Tether is one of the biggest existential threats to crypto. You guys think I just make this stuff up? As we have to trust they hold 118 billion in collateral without proof. I agree. Even after the CFTC fined Tether for lying about the reserves in 2021. Around the same time, Consumers Research, a consumer protection group, published a report criticizing Tether for its lack of transparency. Just 3 years prior, in 2021, the CFTC fined Tether $41 million. You know what Tether did? They just paid the fee. This is what these guys do. Jamie Dimon as well. Oh, you're going to find me guilty? I'll just pay the fee. It's the cost of doing business. Meanwhile, that's right. Yeah, you remember, Judy, I've been saying that for 4 years. More recently, Tether has voiced disappointment over new European regulations that have forced exchanges like Crypto.com to delist USDT and 9 other tokens to comply with MiCA. It is disappointing to see the rushed actions brought on by statements which do little to clarify the basis for such moves. A spokesperson, no, they were justified in that. You had plenty of time to come forward and allow a third audit. There was even one company that said, we'll do the audit for free. And it was a big company at that time. They wanted to pull their card on that. And Tether still said no. But now they say it's a top priority, which means they're getting positioned because they want that government endorsement, Donald Trump's. I wonder how much money they're going to give to him in his campaign. Okay, we got here crypto markets will be pressured by trade wars until April. So we got to look at if Bitcoin right now has been hovering in the $80,000 range throughout most of March. When is this going to go back up or will it go back down? You guys type in the chat box, what do I say I believe the bottom is? So what does this guy say? How long? Will until April? Global tariff concerns are the biggest driver for both crypto and traditional markets. Global trade war concerns will pressure both cryptocurrency and traditional markets until at least the beginning of April. But the potential resolution may bring the next big market catalyst. Bitcoin's price fell over 17% since US President Donald Trump first announced import tariffs on Chinese goods, the first day after his presidential inauguration. Despite a multitude of positive crypto-specific developments, global tariff fears will continue to pressure the markets until at least April 2nd. Now, I haven't read this yet, but what's happening in April or what's supposed to happen? Donald Trump is supposed to, remember, he put a pause on these tariffs from Mexico and China for 30 days until the end of March. Now we're going into April. Do we take a bet? Will Donald Trump reimpose those specific tariffs on Canada and Mexico? What do you guys think? I know Polymarket, we got to watch next week since we're getting to the end of the month. If there's a news article from Polymarket Bets, do you think there's going to be tariffs or do you think there will not be tariffs? Because Canada is calling Donald Trump's bluff, if it's a bluff. And so far it has been, because the last 2 times he did it, he pulled back. Canada isn't playing. And they know, yeah, we might be hurt short term, but we need to make a stand. And they say, we love y'all you Americans, but your president is acting crazy on us. And If you watched, I saw an interview yesterday from the Oval Office, and Trump doubled, tripled, and quadrupled down that Canada needs to be the 51st state. An imaginary line's up there. People thought he was joking. He's not. I don't think he's thinking this through, or he's thinking this for other reasons, which is a bigger geopolitical reason. I'm not doing Q&A right now today, Judy. A bigger reason when we're dealing with what Russia, the whole North Pole, the trade routes. There's a reason why he's eyeing Greenland and Canada, and there's another reason for that. From a political standpoint, it is not a good idea. If you are a Republican and you're on that side, you ever want to win elections, why do you think DC and Puerto Rico has not become an official U.S. state? Because the people in those areas tend to vote more on the left for Democrats, and that will mess up the balance of power. That's why Republicans will always or have always voted against statehood for Puerto Rico and DC. But you want to vote statehood for Canada? Canada's like California. You do that, you're now adding how many people's in Canada? 38, 40 million people? They're going to be voting far more on progressive values and progressive issues than conservative ones. Is there a conservative base in Canada? Yes, but not as big as the progressive side. So that's why I said I don't think he's really thinking that part through. But the Canadians say, we are not going to be a part of America. Cut it out. And we will do everything we can to defend our sovereignty. We'll cut off your electricity. Even if it hurts us, we'll take the short-term pain. Because freedom is better than bondage. I can empathize and sympathize with that statement. It's my favorite line from Black Panther. Now, watching Black Panther, do you know who I was rooting for? It wasn't T'Challa. I was on Killmonger's side, but I love what he said at the end. He said, "Save me for what? So that you can lock me up? Nah, bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who knew that death was better than bondage." I'm more on that side. Now, I may not agree with how he wanted to go about doing what he wanted to do, but I understand why the Canadians are standing up to America. So if Trump goes through with it, expect the stock market, and I didn't look at that this morning. Market watch. Expect this to be all red for the US, probably even Europe. Oh, Europe is taking a hit today. What about Asia? Asia's taking a hit, kind of. The Hang Seng. US is a little positive right now. Kiss this goodbye, and the crypto market will go down with it, short term. So, how do we move? We got to be paying attention to the news the closer we get to the end of the month. If there's wind that those sanctions are on, you might want to, even at this price, you might want to tether it because this is going to drop. All of this is going to drop. I think we saw the Inner Circle talk the other day, 65,000, 60,000, 65,000 low. And then you buy back in. So for me, it's actually going to benefit me if Trump drops those tariffs and the market drops. Because then, Kenny, if I do that, I'm going to be opening up a can of worms. Yeah, then I got to allow. Okay, yes, I'll allow it. Now I got to allow Judy to say what she wanted to say. Okay, Bitcoin, this would be a buying opportunity for me. I want this to drop down. Let it go to $50,000, $40,000 a coin. I hope it does. All right. I didn't actually read the article. What is it saying? I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the tariffs. There it is. The tariffs from April 2nd onwards. Maybe we'll see some of them drop, but it depends if all countries can agree. That's the biggest driver at this moment. So All right, Judy, you just got just a please keep this short because I'm running out of time. I'm already late today.
Hey, Brandon, thank you so much for allowing me to comment.
You're a Canadian,
You
so
know that I
no
keep,
better coming from you.
yeah, I've been keeping an eye on this big time, and it turns out you are right. Canada's not playing, but they just connected with the EU, and together they have just ripped up about $39 billion worth of F-35 fighter jet contract. Um, yeah, and on top of that, too, the Canadians have bought the over the horizon long distance missile detection system from the Australian. Now, here's the thing. These detection systems were slated to be sold to the US, and the Australians said, nope, we're giving them to Canada instead. So it is now hitting the US military industrial complex, and that is not a good thing. you know, um,
Mhm.
they like their money. So, yeah, there are waves that are taking place. So we're going to see what happens April
That's
2nd.
right. Thank you for sharing that.
So,
And then Kenny Taylor wanted to say something real quick. So Kenny, where are you? So I can. Okay, go ahead, Kenny.
Hey, thank you, sir. Hey, real quick, I'm not gonna make this long, go into detail, but for everybody that's on here, especially new people, if you're on the fence about getting educated, you need to change that. Um, the cost of education that Brandon has, or anyone else that you find you think you need to get it. My sister-in-law just got scammed for $47,000 last night. And she's one of the people I've been trying to get on 5-day challenges and get educated. And it was so many red flags with this company that if she had just got on the 5-day challenge last week when Brandon was talking about security, it could have been avoided. So stop being idiots. Stop saying you don't have time. Get your education, because the way things are going right now with cuts and people getting laid off, it's going to happen again. And the way this happened, they didn't find her. She found them on Indeed. These people are listing on job site applications now. But she still could have figured it out if she had been educated because of the red flags from dealing with everything. So, but it actually gave me an idea, Miss Martinita, if you can give me some time, sometime this weekend, I want to talk to you about that, either you or Mr. Brandon, um, about a training, because I have access to her platform and her back office from this company that we can train and see exactly what happened. So I just wanted to just say that real quick.
Wow, wow. What did I say last week too? I said I guarantee this is going to happen again and again and again. You can't
And
put a
that
price.
47,000 was everything she had.
The only good thing that can come from that is that because it's not the end. If she gets herself crypto educated and actually takes it serious, she can get that back, and she can get it back relatively quickly from what we teach and taking advantage of it. It ain't going to get that back from if it took her 20 years to get that saved working a 9 to 5 job. That's not going to happen. You got to do something different. But at least you won't make that mistake again. But why wait till you get the mistake to learn when you can do preventative? Didn't the other day I just say you can't quantify the education, because if you get educated and you avoid a scam, a red flag, because you just see the red flag, you don't get involved, you really don't know what you missed until it actually happens. And it's sad to hear that. So sorry to hear about that. And I know, Kenny, how much
Thank
you've been working and trying to get the word out to get educated.
And the saddest part of it, well, it's sad she got, but this was her mom's uh life insurance money that she got from her mom's death. Her mom just passed last month.
So she tried to flip it
So
real quick on some opportunity.
no, she was actually working for this company. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into details. What I want to talk
Okay.
to you and Miss Marnita in detail, but it looked like a legit company, but the flags were there.
If you want to, let's take a look at that on Monday morning in Crypto Talk.
Okay.
Let's see how that happened. All right, thank you for sharing, Kenny. The next up is Patty. Go right ahead, Patty.
Good morning, Brandon. I just wanted to tag on to Kenny what he said. What came to mind is that if people don't see the value of getting crypto educated, just keep this in mind. If hackers were able to steal, what was it, a billion or millions of dollars from Bybit, which is an exchange, how do you think they're not going to be able to figure out how to get in your wallet if you don't have education to keep them out? That was it.
Thank you for sharing that, Patty.
Thank you.
All right, let me finish this up. Okay, Fed's interest rates are also contributing to market slump. Yeah, we're waiting for the Fed to see proper bad news before they will release. So the Fed did nothing. Remember, we were waiting on the 18th? They did nothing for now. Cooling inflation and stable economic conditions could further boost investor appetite, driving additional upside for Bitcoin and digital assets. Okay, if Trump does not do the tariffs, I expect you'll see Bitcoin climb at least maybe back into the 90,000 range in April, unless something else crazy happens. And what I say crazy is Trump comes back from a golf vacation and starts signing some other executive orders. And I mean, the one I can't be too quiet about, I'm going to do a separate broadcast about, is eliminating federal businesses that Lyndon Johnson signed to prevent segregation, saying that it is okay to segregate. I can't stay quiet on that one, but I won't be doing that in Crypto Talk. That'll be something separate. Keep an eye on key reports, including consumer confidence, fourth quarter GDP, jobless claims, and next week's crucial PCE inflation release to gauge the likelihood of future rate cuts. All right, and then this last one. Oh, perfect. Is Bitcoin going to 65K? Traders explain why they're still bearish. Bitcoin is pairing recent losses but still struggles to sustain its uptrend, leading some analysts to predict another drop as low as $65,000. Bitcoin rebounded by as much as 14% after it plunged to $76,000 earlier this month. Price is down 25% from its record high of around $110,000. Dark cloud hints Bitcoin is topping out. Bitcoin faces renewed bearish pressure after rejecting at 87,000 the descending channel resistance with a dark cloud cover pattern. Again, only problem I have with this, you're just reading the charts. You can't just read the charts. That's not what's driving this. Let me see if they say anything different. Bitcoin's potential to decline further arises from its perfect rejection after testing the 86. Yeah. Is this all you're doing? Hard to stay bullish with the bear flag pattern. Okay. Nah. He's just reading the charts, period. But the chart is not what's moving the market right now. It's politics. All right. Again, let me give you dream mode one more time. Anybody that wants to be a partner with ILCA, like Maggie is, and Robin, that's getting themselves positioned. You put ILCA, your company, your website, you're a partner with us in front of 500 people. You just made $250,000. Again, who wants to make some money? That's it. Who wants to make some money? All right, join ILCA. We are self-created, self-funded here. All right, with that, that is it for Crypto Talk for today and our ILCA presentation. We encourage you to, if you like the Crypto Talks, we do this 4 days a week. You want to join us Monday morning, go to ilcacryptonews.com, ilcacryptonews.com. Register $49 a month to be a part of our inner circle. My goal is to help 100 people to earn $2,500 to $5,000 a month. We've got programs to show you how to do that and invite you to become a partner with us, and you're going to earn affiliate income from us as well. And then Vegas. We're going to talk more about Vegas on Monday. I'll be at the Bitcoin 2025 event. We're going to have some events for ILCA. We're going to, Martina will give you all the details on Monday, especially on Wednesday. We're going to have like a class session. We'll have our like a graduation ceremony with our certification, chance to meet and greet. We're going to be doing a MoveQuest 1 mile walk. So we'll be walking together. We'll be doing lives, taking videos, taking pictures, have dinner. So we're going to have some fun and learn at the Bitcoin 2025 event. So with that, take care, everybody. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.